Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin, and this is a weather report. I'd like to talk about the weather health stresses for July 5th, 2026. We keep additional graphics at tpatw.com. We also maintain a storefront on Amazon. Looking at the surface map for the 5th, we have two frontal systems, one stretching all the way from about San Francisco up into southeastern Oregon and on into Montana. However, there is a second, more active frontal system stretching from a low just on the corner of northeastern Wyoming, with a warm front stretching north into North Dakota, and an active cool front stretching all the way south through really eastern Colorado, down to Oklahoma City, across to Memphis, back up to Cincinnati, and across to Pittsburgh and Philly, with a really swath of unsettled weather from the southern plains up and down the Mississippi Valley, everywhere east all the way over to the Appalachians. Little bit of non-activity going on in the Carolinas, but it'll get there shortly. Looking at our vitality index, which is a measure of the individual weather elements and will have an impact on the body. And note that we have a very interesting swath of activity here from Nevada across the Four Corners, but we have the focus of attention up the plains, the Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, and really extending over to the Appalachians and then across into New England. But note that we do have something going on across the south, including Florida. Pressure change this time of the year is minimal at best, but we do have a little bit of rising pressure, mostly here across New England, talking Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Temperature change. Very difficult to talk about temperature change with temperatures so elevated across most of the country. However, we are going to see a little bit of a temperature reduction, at least to more modest levels across the east. But note that we have one bubble of increasing temperatures, sharply increasing temperatures, here from eastern Colorado on into the panhandle of Nebraska into south central South Dakota. Looking at dew point temperature change, something we've been talking about for 4 days, and you'll note there is no significant change in the dew point temperatures across the east, although they will be pulling back slowly. But note that we have a sharp increase in dew point temperatures here up through Nevada and across the Four Corners, and that's probably a monsoonal-like increase. And although it's not full coverage of showers and thunder showers, still means the risk of wildfire significant across that part of the country. Vapor pressure is confirming that there is that moisture push up into Nevada and the Four Corners. Note there's a little bit of moisture push here across the Carolinas, and we just got through saying there's not a lot of activity going on in the Carolinas. The change in focus of instability, meaning where the showers and thunder showers may be more dramatic, shifted back to the west. Here we've got Oklahoma, eastern Oklahoma, Nebraska, and then western Arkansas and Missouri. Note we still do have that chance for instability across the southern Florida and trying to reach its way into the middle Atlantic states. The change in oxygen availability is far more dramatic and far more difficult or interesting to talk about. Note that we have a risk of migraine, especially here in central northern California, right around San Francisco. Then we'll jump on into New Mexico, and we have that swath of risk of migraine across eastern New Mexico, cutting across portions of Oklahoma, the extreme panhandle, central Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, and up into Kansas, across into Missouri. Note that we also have a spotty risk of migraine across portions of the south, especially Mississippi, Alabama, northern Georgia, and on to western Carolinas. And then it gets more significant as we push into the Ohio Valley, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, on into New York and across New England, especially Massachusetts and coastal Maine. Looking at asthma and arthritis risk, very interesting here. We have a swath of asthma arthritis risk from eastern Colorado across the panhandle of Nebraska into south central South Dakota. Another swath of asthma arthritis risk about Texarkana. A little bit of activity going on here in southern Illinois. And then we do have that risk of asthma and arthritis back across north central Florida, a little bit of coastal Carolina, and interesting picking up Maryland and Delaware. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated. And if you hurt, tell us where you're located.